What else we got?
Oh
no! Oh no!
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 Oh no! Oh no! Don't go there! Oh no! Oh no! How did you get away with this? Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh, that was so bad.
I can't believe that
I forgot how
episode
bad
went
that
out.
Oh, I forgot how bad that was. Oh, I haven't looked at that for so long.
There's no way you could get away with that on the internet today.
Oh.
The internet is a much more sophisticated and cultured place.
Oh, no. Oh, that is so bad. That is so bad. Oh, I am so hot under the collar. Oh my gosh. And not because of the pictures that were on screen, because I am so embarrassed that I said okay, like that I did that. That I thought that was a good idea. Ooh,
oh yeah.
Boy. Oh boy. Wow.
In your defense, the internet was actually it was kind of a seedier place at the time. Like the videos that were on YouTube were a lot rawer. They were actually significantly raunchier than they are today. Like the internet has actually toned down quite a bit in the last 5 years, and this was one of the first episodes of Game Theory.
Well, and it's
I mean, you did it specifically so that you could have boobs in the thumbnails, clickbait. I remember.
I did. No, it was very specific. I mean, it was one of those things where I'm like, how do I get views to a young YouTube channel that...
I thought you were going to say to a young audience, and I was like, oh no!
To a young audience.
Oh no!
No, to a young YouTube channel that was doing okay, but I'm like, you know, what is popular on this website right now? And this was back in the day of the boob thumbnails, right? And I'm like, oh, boob thumbnails are a thing.
Yeah.
Let me design a game theory using, you know, that I could legitimately use a boob thumbnail around.
Oh man, DBZ and Games with Van says, shut up, that was one of my favorite episodes. And Gunny says, haha, cringe and funny, thanks for that.
That was painful.
Oh.
But it was one of those things,
Matthew, how dare you, says Cassidy Smith. This is why I've been avoiding the boob episode, says insert creative user.
And my theory about it, my like meta theory about it was like, hey, if the show has this one like super clickbaity episode that like rides on this boob trend or whatever and gets people interested in me as a creator and in the show itself, it's doing more good than harm, right? Because, you know, one, we're going to talk, even though this is clickbaity as heck, we're going to tackle this topic in as scientific a way as possible, or like, let's explore anatomy through the lens of video game boob.
So you make that argument. However, this Saturday, Matthew and I were on an episode of YouTubers React, where we watched an Estonian rapper named Tommy Cash. Brilliant name, by the way. Where his whole thing was doing suggestive music videos. Like, if you are sensitive to that kind of thing, it's seriously like a not safe for work kind of thing. But it has all this suggestive imagery in it, and it's designed to be shocking.
Right.
And our argument in that episode was that
it's on Fine Brothers. It's one of the most recent uploads.
It's on there, so go watch it. Because we're there. We don't say much. We just we're just like
watching in stunned silence.
Yeah, it's really that the whole time. But our argument is like, no, you shouldn't do that because like that attracts the wrong audience. Well, so we literally just negated that argument like 3 days ago on YouTubers React.
But honestly, it's something that I came to learn after the fact. Like, this episode did not perform as well as I thought it would. Like, I thought like, oh, this is gonna get all the clicks, and it didn't. Like, it did okay. But it wasn't like gangbusters like I expected it to. It didn't do as well as like the Sonic episode, which came shortly thereafter, and that was really the one that kind of launched the channel. But it was one of those things that, like, one, it didn't do that well, and two, what I learned was the audience for that clickable thumbnail is not the audience that's really going to come back to a lot of different episodes. You know, they were not the people that were really watching for the show. They were watching for other reasons. The other interesting thing about this little boob episode is the fact that you doing game theory is taking me to some weird places. weird. And I remember, like, this episode, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a parody of the Can, just, like, listing off names of boobs. So, one, I ran out of, like, boob picture, like, safe for work boob pictures. I felt like I was just doing Google image search and I was just pulling everything and I, like, exhausted them all. But two, so that takes you to weird places, like how to pop a human. That's a very dark, very weird place.
Things not to Google.
Things not to Google.
That.
But also, I'm like looking up, what are other nicknames for boobs that I can use for this intro? Oh boy! Let's watch the old intro. Look at this. Yes, my head exploding.
Oh, nice.
This was like intro 2.0, I think.
Was it? Oh yeah.
I did not know. Oh yeah!
Oh no! What were you thinking?
Oh, I forgot that I didn't segue to this. Okay. Hey. Oh, I forgot about that.
We can skip some of this.
Oh
We
yeah,
don't need
sure.
the gist of
No,
what's happening.
we got a good gist of what's going on.
I think
I
we're
forgot
all
about
set
that.
on that
though.
one.
I forgot that I say because every once in a while I would like, and we do it a lot on film.
I
Theory
think
at
we
this
would
point.
censor this at this point.
Oh, I would. Yeah,
we would totally censor this.
No
We've
bueno.
censored plenty of other
This
stuff.
is no bueno at this point.
Man!
None of this would fly anymore.
We need like a Game Theory remastered for the early episodes.
No!
Like when Disney does that 50th anniversary edition and they like depixelize everything, except this one would be to further pixelize all those boobs.
Oh my god! Wow.
Oh no, it just goes on and on.
It just goes on, and then I
How?
zoom in on it.
Why are there so many
there's some
tan
bouncy
lines in?
above
Oh,
the Game Theory.
jeez.
Holy
Okay.
cow!
A show about theories and games.
That was rough. But it is one of those things that like, whew, man, it keeps going and it keeps showing more
going.
boobs.
Oh my gosh.
More and more boobs. Oh man, look at all that.
Wow, look at that amazing
Ah,
Photoshop. Oh,
I told
jeez.
you.
You just zoom in on them everywhere. What are you doing?
There's so
You're
many.
comparing them to mountains
just-
now. Oh, jeez. Okay.
It's also
okay.
worth noting that was the first, I think that was the first big controversy
Whew.
of Game Theory, was the boob episode, because
the first controversy. Is it near and dear to your heart?
it's just a memorable one because, as you can imagine, some people, female gamers in particular, were not super thrilled about that episode.
Do you know what I'm most shocked about?
What?
I was like, our relationship goes way, way back. I was there for all of this.
Yeah.
And before you released it, you showed me this video.
I did show it to you.
You showed me this video, and I was like, you know what? Compared to everything else on the internet, this is nothing. Go for it. I was fine with it. How was I fine with it?
You were fine with it, Steph.
I was like, this is fine. Like, you're just using footage from actual video games, and the crux of the episode is to, examine the physics of this body part. So, okay, sure.
So really, we have you to blame. We have you to blame.
The final,
You were the final clearance.
I was the final clearance. Did I fail? Did I succeed? I don't even know anymore.
You tell us.
I haven't watched this episode in 5 years, and at that point, I was like, the internet was a raunchier place. And also, you were over on Screw Attack mainly. You weren't even on YouTube yet for a lot of this stuff.
At that point, I think I was straddling Screw Attack and YouTube.
But you had stuff on Screw Attack. You had Pat the NES Punk. You had these guys who were they were grittier. They were significantly.
Game trailers.
Yeah.
This was on Game Trailers. Also, Game Trailers. So in the early days, you got to figure out how to hack all the systems, right? What I learned was that on Game Trailers, the old website that was known for its game reviews and its top 10s, they allowed users to upload videos, and me looking for an audience, I'm like, let me put it up there and see how I do. And I got front page a couple times, which was amazing. But what I learned was the difference in clickability of an episode with a boob in the thumbnail versus not. And their thumbnails were auto-generated. And so if you had a scandalous image at 7 seconds into the video, that was the frame that they would always grab. And so I learned in those early days, I'm like, oh, I need a scandalous image at 7 seconds that somehow relates to the game but also is kind of sexy. to show, and it worked, right? Like, that was one of the things, but...
Everyone is blaming me for this episode.
It is.
You
Hashtag
guys,
blame Stephanie.
I didn't make the
Blame
episode.
Stephanie.
I was just like, I don't want to inhibit your, like, creative freedom. And again, at this point, it was like a creative project. There was no monetization. There was no...
True.
No one was making money off of this. It was like...
They could have. So, it's interesting, because they could have, but I didn't monetize any video on YouTube until like we were about like close to 1 million subscribers.